Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're going to be predicting who's going to win the Dice Tower Awards. And we're also going to be talking about the games that we would pick, or be most likely to pick, based on what we think of the
Yes.
potential a game might have, because there are some we have not played, obviously.
The real winners.
The
ones that
the
should,
real winners.
The ones that should win.
Right. So yeah, we'll give what we think or what we would have picked if we were part of the panel of people making picks. And first, we'll start off with the.
Oh, what are we playing for? Why predict these? Just for fun? I don't play for fun. I play to win.
That is true. So we decided that whoever gets the most of these right, the other person will have to buy them one of the games on this list of their choice.
Wait, what's
What's
the most expensive?
So it
game
might be
here?
better. It might be better for you to lose, Pepper, because you get to pick the game you'd buy me. So it'd be a game that you might want. So kind of a win-win, maybe not. So now we will start off with the first one, which is Best Welcoming Game, and last year the winner of that was Point Salad.
Point Salad, I think that was spot on. So I'm gonna go with the. I might overlap with my pick here.
Okay. So the options were Calico, My City, Scooby-Doo, Escape from the Haunted Mansion, The Isle of Cats, and Trekking the World. Of these, I have played two. I've played Calico and the Isle of Cats, and I've also played Trekking the National Park, so I've kind of played that other one.
Yes, I've played Isle of Cats and Calico as well, and I've wanted to play Trekking the World on BGA, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know how it's played.
Mm-hmm. So we kind of looked at each of these to see kind of what they looked like, at least a little bit, to see if we would maybe really prefer one of these other ones. But I think what I'm going to go with for what I think everyone's going to pick, or what's going to be the actual winner, I'm going to go with Calico. However, what I would probably pick, just based on it being a welcoming game, doesn't mean that I necessarily liked this game more than Isle of Cats or something, but I would pick Trekking the World if that's similar. I think it just has something to it that could appeal to a wide audience. Not saying Calico can't, because it's about cats, but I don't know. I'm split on it. If it was dogs, I would definitely say that was it. But
I think we're going to be both buying each other games, because that is exactly my picks too. I think Calico's going to take it, although it's a little thinkier.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it's just the actual things you do in the game are very simple.
Right.
You pick a tile, you place it down. That's very approachable.
Right.
Where Isle of Cats is a little more. There is a family mode in it, which I like, but I don't think they're really bringing that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go for Trekking the World myself, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, I think it feels like one of those Ticket to Ride games.
Yeah. It has a similar feel to Ticket to Ride. That's why I think it would be a little bit better, like you said, Calico, which is one we've played. And maybe if I hadn't played it, I might have thought it was easier. But it's a little deceptive because it can get pretty thinky pretty quickly in the game. But yeah, so that's what we got for those.
So we are matched currently.
Yep. So then
This is how we get two games.
That was the plan all along. That's why I winked at you. So then we've got Best Party Game. And the last year the winner was Wavelength. And for this we've got 5 Minute Mystery, Hues and Cues, Master Word, Mysterium Park, and Telestrations Upside Drawn. I have only played Hues and Cues.
I have only played Hues and Cues as well. But yeah, I've looked up, because Telestrations, that is, someone holds it for you.
The upside drawn.
Someone upside drawn. Someone is holding the pen,
Yep.
and the other person is moving the board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that should win an award. But
It is interesting.
I'm just being a snob, I guess.
It is interesting.
Mysterium Park is just another one of those. Try to hint to your teammates who the murderer is. And 5 Minute Mystery is a little like that, a little more of a family game, I think. But yeah, Hues and Cues we played, I think that is very similar to wavelength.
Right. And that's why, personally, I would pick Hues and Cues. I think it is a good party game, but at the same time, it's tough. It's tough because I haven't played these, and I don't know that, like you said, some of them are like trying to hint things and whatever, and I don't know if I need another one of those games.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably why I personally, it's the only one we've played, but and maybe Telestration's Upside Drawn.
Yeah.
Just
maybe.
because it's a little bit different than any games we have. So, I mean, it might not actually be the best party game, but
Yeah.
I think that's the one I would pick. But for the award, I'm picking Mysterium Park, just because I think I've seen the most people talking about that out of these five. Because I don't know that before I kind of looked at what they'd had, I don't know that I saw much about 5 Minute Mystery or Masterword at all.
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning.
And we match again. I think Mysterium Park is going to take it, and it is also the one that I would vote for, because that's the one that I am most interested in of those.
Interesting.
But yeah, just kind of for the same reasons, I've heard the most about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are we on to next?
So after that, we've got Best Two-Player Game. And last year the winner was Watergate. Which was...
pretty popular.
Yeah,
game.
that was pretty
Very
popular.
talked about.
Yep. Isn't that? But for this year, for nominees, we've got Cosmic Encounter Duel, Curious Cargo, The Fox and the Forest Duet, Imperial Struggle, and Undaunted North Africa. And I've only played one of these.
I've only
as well.
played one of these as well.
The Fox and the Forest Duet, just because I really, really love Fox and the Forest. If you've seen our review on it, you know that it's probably one of my favorite two-player games. So I just had to immediately, when I had the chance, buy Fox and the Forest Duet and try that out.
It's good. I don't like it nearly as much as you do.
Right.
So that is why that would not be my personal pick, the duet. My personal pick would be Undaunted North Africa. And that will also be my prediction. Mostly because Cosmic Encounter, very popular game, but I haven't really heard many great things about
Right.
Duel. I think it kind of removes best with like a lot of players, maximum player count.
Mm-hmm.
Curious Cargo, I haven't heard too much about either. I don't really like Fox and the Forest Duet, or I don't love it at least. And
Shots fired.
Imperial Struggle is another one, like Cosmic Encounter Duel. Is that after Twilight Struggle? Is it kind of
I
related
think so.
to that?
I think it's a similar type of
I think
thing.
that's
But I think it's supposed to play faster. And that's another one that I'd heard about it, like people had talked about it first before it came out, I think. And then ever since then, kind of like you said, Cosmic Encounter Duel, I feel like people were talking about it when it was like not released yet, but then after it was released, I have not heard as much about it, which makes
really
me
make an impact.
Right. And this is where we differ. I was thinking about picking Undaunted North Africa just because I think I've heard a lot more about Undaunted.
Yeah.
But I think another Undaunted game was nominated for this last year and did not win. So I'm going based off of that it's a similar type of group that maybe doesn't like that game, possibly. And I am picking both my favorite and the one I think is going to win, Curious Cargo.
Ooh.
I'm really interested in playing Curious Cargo. And I've taken a little bit of a
I
shot
feel
there.
stupid. That's the one I've looked at the least.
I don't know because it's kind of based off of the Pipeline game. It has a similar type of thing, although I think it's a two. For some reason, I'm thinking now that it might also be 3-player, but I think it's mainly for 2 players. It's a 2-player version, kind of that similar type of thing. And I was interested in Pipeline. I never played that, so that's why I've got the interest in that. And like you said, the Fox and the Forest Duet wasn't as big, wasn't as much of my favorite as the Fox and the Forest, and I also haven't heard that many people talk about it. So I really think it's going to come down to Undaunted or Curious Cargo. It'll probably be Undaunted, but I'm going with Curious Cargo.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be my second favorite.
Mm-hmm. So what do we got next?
On to Best Reprint. Pret-a-Porter won this last year, and the nominees are Seven Wonders, 2nd edition. Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy. Was the first one just Dawn for the Galaxy?
I think it was an Eclipse? I don't know.
Yeah. And Fort, Project Elite, and Rococo Deluxe Edition. I've got to go with a Deluxe Edition Rococo for my most wanted, my pick, personal pick, because I have not, well, I have played Seven Wonders online, so I don't think it really matters what edition that is. I think that would count.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they've really changed much.
Yeah,
just artwork, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the main changes. I guess I didn't look into this one too much just because, yeah, it seemed like it was just mainly art changes. I'm sure there might be a couple other changes in it, but yeah, I don't know if it's... I'm going to be a little surprised if that one wins. I don't know if it necessarily should, but maybe there are some bigger changes to it that I'm not aware of. But yeah, I totally agree with you on the Rococo Deluxe Edition. I hadn't ever looked at Rococo before I saw this, and once I saw the cover on this, I definitely wanted to at least try it and play it. But then I looked back at the old cover. I did look at like some of the artwork in the game, but if it's similar feel to the cover itself, I think it probably had more of a, I don't know what you'd call it, an older Euro feel to it.
Yeah.
Kind of all that type of drawing and artwork and stuff. So that's what I would pick. However, I am going to pick Fort.
Ooh.
Surprisingly enough, I don't remember what the game is that it replaced. It was some weird letters, I think, combined.
Oh, I thought it was just Fort 2nd edition.
Nope, it is not. It was a total different. It was named something totally different, and I just think, at least at one point in the year, it seemed like this was pretty popular. I saw it a decent amount, and I think it's pretty cheap, if I remember right, or relatively cheap, I should say. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that have played it, and
True.
might think it's a little bit different than other things they've had. So I'm going with Fort.
Yeah, this came down to Fort and Rococo for me. And it's really tough not having played either the first or the second.
Right.
Because you don't know, did they change things? Are they good changes, bad changes?
Right. That's true. We have not played any of these. So this is all just us coming up talking about what we like in the artwork and stuff.
But I decided to go with Rococo for my prediction as well.
Yeah, I think that one looks really nice. So, yeah. What do we got next? We got most innovative game. And last year, Detective City of Angels won.
Detective games.
That's what was it the year? I think I looked at a few of these ones, and they all had like that similar type of feel. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if that necessarily is innovative when it seems like we've got the similar thing. But I have not played Detective City of Angels. It could be really innovative and great. I have no idea. So then for nominees, we've got The Crew, Forgotten Waters, Micro Macro Crime City, The Search for Planet X, and Whistle Mountain.
We have played 2 of these.
2 of them, so that's
The Crew
pretty good for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was Forgotten Waters. I haven't played it, and I haven't necessarily played other games like it, but it feels like a game that has already been here. So I don't know if it's necessarily innovative.
It's a story-driven game,
which I think there's
a lot of
decent amount of. I don't know exactly why this one was picked. Maybe there's something in there that's really innovative, but so that one kind of eliminated that for me. Not saying it's a bad game, I just don't know that it's different, or it feels way different. And then Micro Macro Crime City. I think that one might have had a better chance if it had been nominated for the Spiel earlier, but that might also have given it an actual chance for this. I don't know if it would have had a chance at all if it hadn't been nominated for that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it would have? 'Cause I don't know if I was hearing that much about it before that.
I'll just tell you that this is the first that I had heard of it. So, no, I don't think it really had much buzz by itself.
So yeah, so I did not end up picking that. And then the Search for Planet X, that's the one I probably know the least amount about. So I did not pick that one. And then I've got my personal pick of Whistle Mountain, which I'm a bit of a Euro guy, so I like almost everything in Whistle Mountain. I don't know that it is necessarily innovative.
So what
that
is it, just
much.
building the board, kind of?
I think the building the board and having the water raise up and kind of take things away, and so you're kind of adding new abilities on the board and then having them taken away. I don't know if that's. I really like it. I mean, it feels I think it feels different than any other game we have or have played. I'm not sure if there's any other games out there that feel like it, but it definitely felt very different to me and innovative. But then I think the Crew will win, even though I don't know that I necessarily think it should. It is interesting, and I do like the Crew, but I don't know that it's so innovative that it's setting the world on fire. But that might be because I played the Fox and the Forest duet before, so I had done some cooperative trick taking. So then not that it made it a bad game, or it felt like a bad game, because I think it does the trick taking better, I think, than the Fox and the Forest. But it didn't seem as innovative then. But I think I still think that's my pick to actually win.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way about most of these for my personal pick. Although I don't know if I really can pick one of these for my personal pick. I don't feel that any of them are overly.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Maybe just micro macro for the huge map. So yeah, maybe micro macro for a personal pick. But I think for a prediction, I do think that they are going to go with the Crew on the hype train, the Tom Vassell hype train. I don't think it should win, but I guess I don't really think anything should win.
Right, yeah. I mean, from what we have to pick here, and obviously we haven't played 3 of them, so maybe if we played them it would really feel innovative. But I don't know that any of these do anything like, wow, really extremely mind-blowing, but they're still good, good games. And I think I would actually be willing to play any of them, playing all those ones that I had said or talked about as well. So what do we got next?
Got Best Expansion. Last year's winner was the Quacks of Quedlinburg, the Herb Witches.
Which I think is a great winner.
That is a great one.
That is a great winner.
That does kind of tell you a little bit about what they look for in an expansion. Where it doesn't really have to change the game, but it could just be more stuff.
Right.
So that helped me with my picking here. Our nominees are Chronicles of Crime, 1400, Parks, Nightfall, Spirit Island, Jagged Earth, Unmatched, Cobble and Fog, and Wingspan Oceania. I don't know what my personal pick would be.
You don't know what your personal pick would be?
Personal pick.
Well, what have we played? We've only
played Oceania.
Yep.
We've played base game Parks and base game Chronicles of Crime.
True.
And I guess my personal pick would be Oceania, just with more birds. I don't know. I like Wingspan a lot.
That's my personal pick too. I do like what the new boards do, and it offers another different way to play it. I think it's not just a more stuff expansion because of that change in the board and the nectar. I think that maybe not totally, but it really changes how the game can be played.
Because a lot of the actions are a lot better. It's like they've really slid the better actions
right
to the left.
Yeah, so it makes it so you could get way higher scores and do better, I think. So yeah, if you're looking for like a roided up version of Wingspan, I think that's a really good expansion for that. But I do not think that's going to win.
You say it gives it another way to play, but some of the bird cards require nectar.
Right.
So then you'd have to, if you want to play the other way, you'd have to dig through and remove those or do that. So I don't really think that people are going to do much going back and forth between the two. So that's a little bit of a problem.
But you could always take. It's not so many cards, but like if it shows up, then you just get rid of that. just because it's not that many. If it was, the whole set needed Nectar, where you have, 70 cards that have Nectar costs, then maybe that'd be a little different. But
My prediction, my original, when I looked at these, I was like, Chronicles of Crime 1400, hands down. But then I watched a review for Unmatched Goblin Fog, and it was called the best unmatched product out there. And I got a 10 out of 10. So then that changed my mind to predict Unmatched Goblin Fog. It is also a standalone game.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm like, is this just an expansion? Because
So I don't know if
for
that
some reason I was
helps or
thinking it
hurts
was I was thinking it was a standalone game, but I wasn't 100% sure. But no, when I saw this list, I immediately thought Unmatched Goblin Fog, just because I don't know, there was a time where it was definitely hyped up some.
Yeah.
I think so. I was definitely thinking that just because, I don't know, I think for some people it's fun to hate Jamie and Stonemaier Games, so I don't think Wingspan has any chance, or Wingspan Oceania, even though that versus, like, if you take the European expansion, I don't think that should win.
No.
Or should have won. I don't know. I don't remember if that was nominated last year or not. Whereas this, I think it is good enough that it would deserve.
It deserves the nomination, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, again, like, so your pick is Unmatched
My pick to win is Unmatched Goblin Fog.
Yeah, I think Spirit Island is. I've heard that is very thinky, very heavy. So I don't think that's gonna win, and I don't know if Parks really adds enough.
Right.
To the game.
Yeah, and I wasn't really sure for Chronicles of Crime. I know people like Chronicles of Crime, but I don't know if it's as hot as it was just with the original Chronicles of Crime. I don't know how well, because I think are there going to be 3 expansions, or are there 3 already?
I think there are
14,
2,
19.
I think there's going to be another one.
Yeah, and like a futuristic one or something. Yeah, so I don't know how well
So
those
that
have done.
could be cool. The things they could do with that, but
yeah. So we match again. So now we go to the best artwork.
last year was Parks, which was it's right up there, very good looking game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the artwork from Parks for sure. However, the same cannot be said for the 5 nominations, in my opinion.
You don't like?
I do not like the art in like any of these games.
Wow.
I don't love the art in any of the games, I should say.
I think most of them are they're good. They're solid art, at least. I mean, it's not
yeah, I mean,
bad.
it's not bad art.
It's not like, who
but
drew
this day and age, I mean, I would say probably it has to be 80% of the games coming out these days. You almost have to have at least good artwork, yes. Otherwise people are just going to pass your game by, typically, I think. So the nominees are Etherfields, Forgotten Waters, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Oceans, and Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reef. And I've played 2 of them. So I've played Lost Ruins of Arnak and Oceans.
Although you played the app.
Yeah, correct. I played the Oceans app, so I don't know if the artwork is slightly different. But I think it had pretty similar artwork, if I remember right.
Yeah, I've played only Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's very weird. You got 3 water-themed games, Oceans, Forgotten
what I was
Waters, and
thinking.
Tidal Blades.
I'm like, we're going really
like
blue here. We're going blue. That's why I think they might all cancel each other out.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. I did like the artwork enough. I just ended up picking Oceans just because I had actually played that, and I liked it. I liked the artwork of the fish and whatnot. It was nice enough artwork for me, but yeah, I guess I haven't played that many games from this last year, but I think I could probably find a game that I like the artwork quite a bit better.
Yeah.
Just none of these personally do it for me as much. But then, because of that, I think Lost Ruins of Arnak is going to win this.
Yeah, I would think Oceans would win, but for looking as good as I think it does, I don't hear too much about people talking about the artwork.
Right.
Although it is possibly the most unique artwork. I kind of struggle with that for best artwork versus most unique artwork.
Right.
Because usually if something really stands out, I would pick that for a winner, and that is the most standout one, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal pick would be Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh.
But
But
my prediction is Etherfields.
Huh?
I think.
I can see that. I feel like that's going to be the snooty people's pick.
Yes.
that is the best looking artwork. I don't know.
The fact that it's not nominated for anything else, spoiler
Right.
alert, but they decided to throw it in here,
Right.
which maybe they don't like the game that much, but if the artwork's
Right.
that good that they get over that to nominate it for this, I
Mhm.
think it might take it.
Yeah. I think the cover looks nice enough, but it at the same time it doesn't really pull me in.
It's a
that
little
much.
dark and
Yeah.
not my style, but I think.
Right. That's why I think
it's
this
got a
one was
good
hard
chance.
for me because none of these were overly my style. But yeah, they're not terrible.
Yeah.
Then we've got the best game from a new designer. Last year's winner was Wingspan, even though that feels like it's been out for years now. Was that right?
Wow.
Or was that 2 years ago? It
No,
had
that
to
was
be right.
last year, because last year would be for 2019.
All right.
So it was 2 years that it came out. But
Right. True. So for this, we've got
Beyond the Sun, Chai, Endangered, Fossilis, and Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Ooh.
Uh,
So what have we played here? Played one. Tried to play
we
a second
tried
one.
to play Chai on Tabletopia, but it was not functional.
No, that was not functioning. So that probably hurt it in my book because I didn't even consider it. I think it's a pretty light game though, so I don't know if that. I don't think it has enough to win this, personally.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like it, but I don't think it has enough to it that it'll win. Especially if Wingspan won last year.
Yeah, true.
Um,
But yeah, I think for this, it has to have a decent impact.
mhm.
I know impact doesn't really mean it's a good game, but I think it usually will have a good impact if it's a new designer, especially.
Right.
So I'm going my personal pick. Obviously, the only one that I've played a full game of, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I am also going to pick that for my prediction.
Well, I'm matching you with my prediction. Well, I'm predicting Lost Ruins of Arnak just because I think it's been
You
talked
see
about.
it-
Even though
you see it a lot.
even though you've got a lot of like the Dune Imperium and some people with like Dwellings and Beyond the Sun, I think Lost Ruins of Arnak has had the closest to like the Wingspan hype because I think it feels like a lot more people are talking about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of a little under the radar, sort of. Not really, but it feels under the radar compared to some of those other games.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just
It's a
seeing it wrong.
weird thing. It feels kind of under the radar, but it also feels like
it is,
most
too.
people have
Right.
played that one.
Right.
It's very odd.
Right. But yeah, but I would pick, even though I haven't played it.
How much do
I
you hate that game?
I am picking Beyond the Sun just because there's just something about it that I really want to try. Who knows? Maybe I'll play it and I'll be like, nope, Lost Ruins of Arnak really deserve this. But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'll be really happy with it. We have not gotten to play that on
No.
BGA yet, but I'm hoping to soon. Sooner than later.
Does that count for me buying you a game?
No.
Letting you play it on BGA.
No! Then we've got the best solo game.
A solo game.
Looks like the Lord of the Rings Journey in Middle-earth won this last year, which is something
Lord
that
of the
I have not
Rings.
played. I'm very interested in a Lord of the Rings game, but I don't know.
Don't know which one would really be the best fit for us.
Right. If you're watching this far in, tell us which Lord of the Rings game is the one to get. But the nominees for this are Dune Imperium, Dwellings of Eldervale, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Super Skill Pinball 4K, and Under Falling Skies.
We played Dune Imperium just the other day. That's our first time. And it had an AI. I assume it's the same AI that is in the solo game. And I mean, we definitely could have been playing it wrong, but
Right. I think we might have to go back and read it, but it did not feel like...
he did not really compete
No.
in the battle. But we could have been playing it wrong. But if that was how it was played, I don't think that would win this for solo
No.
play.
No. and I haven't played any of the other ones solo. I haven't played any of them solo, actually. But my pick and my personal one, I think, would be Dwellings of Eldervale.
So that's both of your picks.
Yep.
That's a good one. I have played that solo like 4 or 5 times now.
Well, then it's definitely gonna win.
Yeah, well, I hate it. No, I really like the solo. It's not just, it is because you roll a die and put the guy out onto a space or whatever the cards show where to put the opponents, the ghosts, meeples, and where they build dwellings. So it is a little bit of blocking you like a normal game, but you can also interact with them through battling with them. So it's a lot more interactive, and it really feels like there's another player that you can attack. And sometimes they even go and battle the monsters by themselves, and they beat them. And my whole plan of victory goes down the toilet. So that would be my personal pick.
But he's not gonna pick it.
I don't know what I'm gonna pick. It's either. I was thinking it was going to go to Under Falling Skies, but then I watched that, and I wasn't too thrilled with it. Because I think that is the only solo game.
But I feel like unless you're a solo gamer, pretty much only play solo, I feel like that really hurts a game if it only has a solo version. Like, some of these other games are some of the top dogs, I think, for the year, like Dune, Dwellings, Lost Ruins. So I mean, people are just gonna
pinball.
Yeah, super skill pinball right up there. No, so I think people are just gonna play that and be more likely to buy these games and play them, and then maybe they'll end up playing the solo variant. So I think that could hurt it.
Definitely. But I have actually heard quite a bit about it. But yeah, I think that could help the others, because if you're just a good solo game, you set out to be a solo game. But if you've got a good solo variant, I think that's a lot more impressive to take a multiplayer game and make it solo.
But he's not picking it?
No.
Are you picking the Super Skill Pinball 4K?
I shouldn't have watched the review for this because it looked really good, and Tom Vessel really liked it.
It's probably a really good game.
But I'm not going to pick it.
What is he going to pick?
I just have to go with Under Falling Skies, I guess.
Okay.
I got to do it. I don't want to. I want to pick Dwellings, but I don't know. That's just a little too big. I think it could be too much for some people.
That's true. What do we got next?
Best theming. Oh, boy. Last year was Horrified, which we haven't played.
And I'm horrified at that pick.
Wow.
No, it sounds like a lot of people like it, but I guess that theme to me would not. I don't know what the other nominees were last year, but
classic monsters.
That theme to me would not have done it if I was picking. If I was
very
picking
well
just based on theme, not even playing the game, that would not have. I don't know.
Our nominees are Dune Imperium, Forgotten Waters, Mariposas, Pan Am, and Super Skill Pinball 4K.
Who are you going to pick the old Super Skill this time?
Yes, I am. That is my prediction, and I think probably would. I've only played Dune Imperium, and I do not think the theme comes across if you haven't read the books or watched the movies.
Right.
I hear it does. The player abilities do come across very well from the books, but I didn't feel any of it. And it was between Forgotten Waters and Pinball for me. I've heard both of those really represent the pirate theme and the pinball theme.
Interesting.
But both my personal pick and my prediction will be pinball.
Interesting. And maybe the pinball could do it, but I don't know. I haven't, outside of the Dice Tower, I haven't heard much about the pinball game at all. Maybe you have. I don't know if I've heard much about it. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, if it lives up to the theme, or if the gameplay felt like you were actually playing pinball, then I would definitely be all for it. But like you said, I don't think Dune Imperium felt like it was thematic, but I haven't read the books and stuff either. Maybe when the movie comes out this year, maybe it'll make more sense.
Oh, it's just like I'm playing the game.
It's like I'm playing the game. And then also I think the fact that there already is a Dune game, and then also there was a reprint of the Dune game just recently. I think that's probably gonna, and I think there's gonna be another Dune game from another company. I think this next year. So I think that's gonna hurt the theming for
that
Dune.
One's very popular too. To have 3 very, very popular games.
Right, for sure. And then Forgotten Waters. I don't know. It's hard to know when you don't play the games.
What the
Haven't played them.
Is he picking then? Oh, he's going with the dark horse.
But I don't think I'm going to pick that. I think I would personally pick Pan Am if it has the feeling, just because that feels unique to me. It doesn't feel like, I think there's some games that do things with like airlines and stuff. I think there's, what is it?
Airplanes?
Yes, airplanes. I think it's like Overbooked or something, or something like that. I think there's an airplane game like that. I don't remember exactly how
Book
it is.
it, that's wrestling.
Not Book It. But I think that's what I would like to try it based on the theme. So that's why I picked that for what I would want. But I think Mariposis is going to win. I think it's sneakily going to win. I think with how popular Wingspan was, and it being Elizabeth's next game, I think that's going to push the vote towards that. Just because that one's not nominated for anything else either.
True.
Even though I don't know that the butterfly theme actually comes through or not.
I've heard some say it does and some say it doesn't.
But I just think that is going to... That's my guess, is that one's going to go through. But...
You're going to be buying me a game.
Probably. He'll get all these right. Super Skill Pinball is going to win 2 awards.
Man, I'm going to write it in for the Game of the Year.
Who knows? It might sneak in.
The next one, best game from a small publisher. Last year was Res Arcana, which I can't believe that was only last year.
That feels like it was a long time ago, too.
The nominees are Chai. Again, we attempted to play it and get a game in.
So that really hurts it, I'm sure.
Dune Imperium, Honey Buzz, Praga, Kaput, something. Regne. Paper's a little... The ink is off there. Project L. Ooh. I think just with the hype, Dune Imperium's got to take this one. I mean...
That's what I have as my favorite, and I have that to win.
I think Honey Buzz is getting quite screwed here. I think they could win about any year, but I think Dune Imperium's just got too much behind it. But my personal favorite would be Honey Buzz.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, it says best game from a small publisher, but if we're talking about the small publishers themselves, I assume, is Dune Imperium, does that fall under Direwolf?
I believe so.
So, which they had Clank Legacy, which was really good as well. So, I mean, they're putting out good games. And then Honey Buzz is Elf Creek Games, which I think they've really come up with a lot of good games. What is it? Merchants of the Dark Road coming out, and then
Atlantis Rising.
Atlantis Rising
reprint.
So I mean, they've come out with some good games as well. So I think, yeah, if it was the small publisher themselves that we were talking about, I think either of those have really been doing really well the last couple of years for sure. So I think either of those would definitely deserve it. I don't remember who the rest of them are. But yeah, I think Dune Imperium's going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's just got too much over these other ones. I think it's going to stomp them to the ground. But who knows? Maybe Honey Buzz will do it. Then we go to Best Strategy Game. This might be one of my favorite categories.
Of course.
Then we've got Maracaibo as the last year winner, which I think it deserves. I don't know if Pepper thinks that.
Probably anything but Maracaibo.
Wow. Wow. It was all your other least favorite games were nominated last year.
Yes.
Then we've got for nominees of Beyond the Sun, Dune Imperium, Lost Ruins of Arnak, On Mars, and Praga Kaput Regni.
feel bad for Beyond the Sun. I really want that one. Or I think it should get an award, but it just... I always feel there's at least one game better in that category for it.
Right. It is tough. I have it as mine again. I'm worried now that I'm going to play this game, and it's not going to live up to my expectations. Because I think that's definitely one of my highest... one of the highest on my list from last year that I haven't played and I want to try. But I actually have picked another one, probably the second most one that I want to play from last year that I have not played yet, as who I think is going to win. It's a little bit of a dark horse. I think.
No.
Praga Kaput Regni. I think that's going to win. I think it's going to.
It's going to win.
I think it is going to sneak out and win this. Because On Mars, I think, is too heavy.
Yes, that's too heavy.
I think it's too heavy. And then, I don't know, you got the three powerhouses in there again, Beyond the Sun, Dune, and Lost Ruins. Maybe Lost Ruins would win. I think it's between Lost Ruins or Praga. But I think Praga might sneak this.
I don't know, I just think Praga's just a little too similar to every other game made.
Possibly. Well, we're not going for innovative here.
My personal pick would be Lost Ruins of Arnak. I like that one quite a bit. But my prediction...
You're going to pick Beyond the Sun. He's going to pick On Mars. He doesn't think it's heavy enough.
Not nearly. You call it strategy? On Mars.
This needs to be in the family weight.
Yeah, On Mars is just a little too heavy. Beyond the Sun, I just don't think it's going to have that pull.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be Praga, so that leaves Lost Ruins and Dune. Which I feel like
this one's probably going to bite me.
I feel like I don't want to spoil anything, but I think they want to not really go all in on Dune or on one single game.
Mm-hmm. That is part of the reason. That's another reason I think Praga, just because I think it was nominated on the last one. Other than that, it's not. Is it nominated for Best Game of the Year?
It is.
Oh, so maybe. Never mind then. I was thinking maybe Dune
everything.
Dune and Lost Ruins might win a lot of this stuff, and this one might sneak this one out. Is what I'm thinking.
True.
But that could be the same for Beyond the Sun. It could sneak this one. I think if either of those are going to win anything, it's going to be the strategy.
Yeah.
I think.
I think Lost Ruins is a little more approachable, but I think it's going to go with Dune.
I think that's a good pick. I think you're probably right on that. But I'm going to go for the dark horse. I have to win. I have to win this game. Ooh, then we got Jesse's favorite category.
The best board game production value this year. Production value.
So he says! Because we've got Cloudspire on here for last year.
I don't think
which apparently they changed the...
But then I rewatched it, then I couldn't find where they said they changed it from last year.
But Cloudspire is decently expensive.
Yes, it's very expensive. So I think they must have changed it. But yes, Cloudspire won last year.
But even when I looked at their website, it said Best Board Game Production.
But on the reveal, when they released the nominations, it said value.
Okay.
Gotta take price. But you can go with whatever you want. You can go Cloudspire again, for all I care.
I will go with Cloudspire again.
It's got great staying power. The nominees are Dwellings of Eldervale, Honeybuzz, On Mars, Tang Garden, and Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reef.
We played 3 of these.
We have played 3 of these. Dwellings, Honeybuzz, and Tang Garden. I think by far the cheapest of these games is Honeybuzz.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it competes with the others in the actual components very well. Might even be the best of them. And just for that, and being way cheaper, that's gotta win, hands down. That's my pick, my personal pick, and my prediction.
My prediction is Honeybuzz as well. My personal
Copycat.
pick is Dwellings of Eldervale. I really like what it has to it. We got the
Super
Deluxe
Legendary Edition.
Legendary. So we have the sound bases and everything, and all the extra monster miniatures. So it's a little biased. I think if it was like the cardboard ones and whatnot, I don't think it would be competing for this. But then like inserts and the game tray
the game
inserts,
trays as well.
having those in there is hands down one of the, for being so big with everything in there, to be able to set it up and tear it down as quickly as you can because of how well the inserts were put together. That's what has it for me. But I really love Honey Buzz as well.
If the price wasn't in it, then I would go throw both my picks at Dwellings as well.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, based on pricing, Honey Buzz is by far, I think, the best value.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we got 2 more to go.
Up next,
one of our favorite categories.
The best cooperative game. Again, your favorite game from last year, Horrified. 1.
I don't know what it is. It's probably a good game. A lot of people like it. Just something about Horrified that just doesn't get me excited. You know what gets me excited? Just the old farming pioneer look to a game. The old Euro-ness to it. That's what gets me going. Don't give me something new like Horrified. Don't do it.
Blah.
Sorry. And for this, we've got The Crew, Endangered, Forgotten Waters, Marvel United, which was a pretty huge Kickstarter, I believe. But I don't know if the Kickstarter stuff was it delivered in 2020?
I think some was. I don't know if all of it was.
Right. And then Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Which is my pick if I was gonna get one of these. That's what I would pick.
For sure, me too.
Just because I'd want to go through the story. It's weird because I don't feel that same way about Forgotten Waters, even though that story it could be way, way better. I have no idea. But typically, just in general, not usually that much into cooperative games, so it's a little tough for me as well. But I think I'm going to pick for the winner pick. I'm guessing this matches yours. I'm going to pick the Overhyped Crew.
Ooh, overhyped.
No. It's good.
Yeah.
I should say, versus some of these games, I would definitely rather play The Crew as a cooperative game. I shouldn't trash it for cooperative game because usually the reason I don't like to play cooperative games as much is because there's usually like a leader,
an alpha player,
player that kind of makes the decisions, and then everyone else kind of just falls in. Whereas in this game, you don't really have that. So
true.
I will give it that.
There is that.
That there's that about
better friends. That's how you solve that. My personal pick is Pandemic Legacy Season 0. I just recently got Pandemic for my birthday, and I've played that a lot and really enjoyed it, and cannot wait for these seasons. But yeah, my prediction is going to be The Crew. I think there's just so much momentum behind it.
Yeah, and these other ones.
Like Marvel United.
Do you think Forgotten Waters is going to get snubbed and get nothing? I don't know how many nominations. Let's see. It's got 1, 2. Maybe it's just my thought. I haven't played it, so maybe if I did, I'd be like, okay, that's winning all these. Got 3, 4.
Gosh, it might.
5.
5?
I think it's at least 5, and I might have missed one.
Wow.
It's got 5 nominations. I don't know that it's going to win.
I don't know, it just feels so much like other things.
It does. It doesn't feel... I don't know.
I think it's going to get snubbed. That's the nacho take.
The nacho take. You heard it here first. Forgotten Waters is not going to win. But then we'll play it, and then we'll be like, wow.
This is the best game ever.
This is the best cooperative game. We are so sorry, Forgotten Waters. Any thoughts on any of those other games?
Marvel United, I mean, it's got the whole Marvel thing behind it, but it is very family weight, I think. And I hear a lot of people say it, but I don't hear a lot of people really complain about it. They just say there's not much to it, but they're still glad they have it.
that kind of feels to me like a horrified. Maybe I should
Yeah.
change my pick.
That is the horrified pick, I think.
Oh man, I didn't think about that. That is definitely the horrified pick. I think horrified has a little more strategy than it though, a little bit more. But I guess I don't know because there were all those additional things from the Kickstarter once it did deliver.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are count towards this, like all the mini expansions or additional things. I think those add a little bit of weight to the game. But yeah, otherwise, I heard that it sounded pretty light, and that's the reason I didn't end up backing it. I was looking into it because even though I really liked the MCU and stuff or the movies and stuff, I don't have any of those games. I don't know what it is about it that none of them really.
Yeah, they're all kind of a similar feel. Like I don't know what is that type of game called.
I don't even know.
Great take.
Great take.
So are you gonna switch your pick?
No. If the Crew wasn't in here, if it wasn't the Crew that I was picking, I would probably switch it. But I think the Crew is going to still win. Unless is it Z that doesn't like the Crew, or is on it?
I think so.
Unless it's him picking, and he's the
voting.
only one.
He gets 10 votes.
Who knows what he'll pick? I think I think if he was picking, he'd probably actually pick Endangered.
Ooh, that's nice.
Okay, now we got the drum roll. What do we got here for the last one? We got Game of the Year.
Game of the Year. Surprise, surprise, Wingspan took it last year. I wish it was that easy this year.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, we've got some in here that I don't think have a chance, but then we have quite a few that I think have at least somewhat of a chance.
Yeah.
So we've got Calico, The Crew, Dune Imperium, Dwellings of Eldervale, Forgotten Waters, The Isle of Cats, Lost Ruins of Arnak, On Mars, Pandemic Legacy Season 0, and Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Which is kind of weird that it wasn't nominated for anything. And then all of a sudden they're like, we're going to throw that into Game of the Year.
Like, I'm taking Game of the Year.
I think was the Isle of Cat? Yes, that was in Family.
Yep.
I was going to say, all the other ones have all been nominated for at least one other category, which makes me pretty much rule that one out immediately, even though I really do enjoy Viscounts, but I am kind of a Garfield fan, so that's a little biased.
I agree. I think that and Pandemic Legacy Season 0, there's just been so many, like there's so many North Sea, West Kingdom games. I feel like this has lost a little bit of that to that. And Pandemic, there's already been 2 seasons.
And there's so many Pandemic games in general.
Yeah, so I think just those have worn off a little bit.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to win.
Right. Yeah, unless they brought something like totally brand new and everyone was talking about them, kind of like some of the Arnak, Forgotten Waters, Dune Imperium, Dwellings. If they were talking about it like that, maybe. But even then, I think you're right that they kind of suffer from having, those past games.
Yeah, just it's weird. From being so successful, they suffer.
Right. Then we've got, I think On Mars is going to be too heavy.
Yes.
But then I also think Calico and the Isle of Cats are probably going to be, I want to say they're going to be too light, but they're not. It's not necessarily that they're that light. I don't know. I don't know if they have the power to win this.
I think On Mars I have written down just like you. Too much Calico, too little, too simple. Isle of Cats, I think, is actually right in between there, like perfectly in between there. It has a few different game modes, a great solo,
That's true.
I think that should have been nominated for solo game, actually. It might have gotten my vote.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I think of all these, that's the one that I would recommend to the most people. I think it's a great balance.
Wait, did you pick? You picked Trekking for Family Welcoming?
Yes, I did.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
That I think that there's parts about it that are probably a little too heavy for that welcoming.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're going to pick it?
I don't know. I was just thinking of it right now. I was like, I haven't considered this game enough because I didn't think anyone
Yeah, I actually
considered
didn't
it
think
a
about it.
heavyweight contender, really. But now that I'm thinking about it, that's a solid game. I think some of these other ones may be a little too intimidating to really be game of the year. When I'm thinking wingspan level, I think this captures that. Isle of Cats does.
This is true.
The most.
But if you're going to do that, do you think it can beat The Crew?
Yes. They've given enough to the Crew. Crew's going to win everything else that's in. And it just doesn't have enough meat, I don't think.
Well, I would personally pick Dwellings of Eldervale. Because I don't think there's a lot in it. It's very intimidating looking.
Yes.
If you hadn't played it and you were going to try it, you're like, oh gosh, this is going to take 40 minutes to learn at least. But it isn't. I mean, there's a lot of simplicity to it. But at the same time, there's a lot of good strategy and decisions that you have to make in it. But what I think is going to win is the Lost Ruins of Arnak. I didn't pick it, I don't think, for anything else. Well, I think I must have picked it one other time. But I do think that it is going to win Game of the Year. I think it feels the most like Wingspan. Oh, I did pick it. I did pick it for two other picks. So be it. I'll pick it for all of them.
So, I was thinking for some reason I feel my personal pick is Dwellings. For some reason I feel like they're just not going to go with it for the pick. It's too cool to go with.
Right.
So then that narrowed it down to Dune and Isle of Cats. Or not Isle of Cats, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Sorry, Forgotten Waters. Sorry, Cats.
He's going to pick Isle of Cats. He said it. It's in his head now.
It is in my head.
Yeah, I hadn't really considered it, but after you said that, and the fact that it actually got into this category, it's kind of a sneaky pick.
I feel like Dune is just a little too gamery feeling. It doesn't look the best. I think they want to kind of go for a full package here.
Yeah.
So then that would kind of bring them down to Lost Ruins of Arnak, which I was going to pick, but now that I talked about Isle of Cats, I'm going to change my pick and predict Isle of Cats, the underdog game of the year.
Well, you convinced me. I actually now am thinking about it more. I'm not going to switch. I still think it's going to be Lost Ruins, but I'm actually considering more, because I originally had thought of it as like in that same category as like the On Mars and Calico. It's like just one of those that isn't in the right place. But after you said that, it has those different options. I think it probably actually is, right there and is accessible for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which makes for a really good game of the year. Kind of like Wingspan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those are our picks.
Those are our picks. Let us know below on who you think's going to win, or let us know if you think any games got snubbed in any categories. Any games from
Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion should have been nominated. Should have won every single category.
Yeah, supposedly there's going to be extra awards, so we'll have to see what that one gets. I don't know what it'll be. But, yeah, those were our thoughts. Who do you think got the most right? Who do you think has the best choices? Let us know below. Otherwise, we'll talk to you next time.
And keep on nibbling.